At the heart of an education is philosophy or wisdom, or the love of wisdom. And I think Miss Karen Armstrong articulates this so beautifully when she says that common acknowledgement of the profundity of human ignorance is expressive of a kind of transcendence in the human condition, that there is this something that eludes our grasp, and at that moment, when we realize that there's something that eludes our grasp, we experience what Socrates called aporia, or doubt. And when we do that, we become philosophers or lovers of wisdom. And the ancient Greeks thought that Sophia was the ultimate deity or god, and that it was the highest calling in life was just to sit and contemplate and touch the infinite. I think this idea is so closely related to the theology of Karl Rahner, where he believes that all finite human beings are grounded in the infinite mystery of God, and that when we encounter each other or encounter other things and realize and have the moment of aporia, we not only touch the finite being temporarily, but also touch the infinite as well. And that we can never ever be separated from the infinite, because the infinite is like the air that we breathe or water which we as fish would swim in. And so we could not exist without the grounds of the infinite. So I think this goes straight into education, and this is what Professor Stephen Carroll was talking about when he said that there are two types of students: those who regurgitate what their professors tell them, and those who think for themselves, those who acknowledge the elusiveness of truth, of wisdom, of knowledge, and relentlessly pursue it. Of course, there are people who are in between, but those are the two spectrum points that students come and go in. But I think when students like me are on the end of opening ourselves to exploring knowledge, to see ourselves as equals with other academics, other students, other professors, other scholars, then we allow ourselves to be changed and then offer our beautifully expressed opinions as gifts to those who are conversing with. We could be conversing with ourselves, or we could be conversing with a book in our head intellectually, or we could be conversing with a person, and we transfer knowledge, and in that transferring of ideas and beliefs and of ourselves, we together achieve enlightenment. And I think that is the purpose of an education, and that is the purpose of a peer tutor, and that as peer tutors we have to acknowledge the goodness that is in every person and open ourselves to be changed and allow them to be changed. And that when we orient ourselves towards them with a spirit of humility and kindness and encouragement, and reveal the mystery of our spirits and of ourselves, they too open up, and then in that we help each other, we learn, we become co-learners, co-sharers of the aporia, which I think is the ideal standard that we all strive for. And I want to continue learning how to continue to learn how to do that best. I want to learn how to always be present, to always grow in knowledge, and kindness, goodness, love, all the things that are the characteristics of God, not just the Christian God, but the God that all religions agree upon, that is that God is goodness and love. I want to embrace those characteristics and bring those out in other people as well. And I think education is central to that. As C.S. Lewis once said, that education without values, as useful as it is, rather seems rather to make a man more clever devil. In other words, without values or morals, what good is an education without that humility, without that community? What good is an education if you end up becoming more and more isolated from the rest of the world? I think an education is supposed to make a student or a person fall in love with the world that they are a part of. And hopefully, ideally, to fall in love with the infinite bank of mystery. Or the infinite bank of goodness and love, which is God. And I think that me learning to be a peer tutor, I think training to learn how to articulate my thoughts better and better, as well as help others to articulate their thoughts better in a way that is humble and one that requires equality between human beings, will enable me to be more present to future students that I might have. I want to pursue teaching religion because I think that it is very important to be able to talk about it intellectually as well as humbly and personally as well, because I think you can never separate who you are and what you believe from who you are as a person. You are always encountering other people in the person that you are, and in order to converse intellectually, you have to be in touch with yourself and what you've experienced and what you hope to be true, because you can't really know anything to be certain. And this is where Ursula Le Guin's quote comes in, that there's the only one question that can be answered and that we already have the answer to, is that the only thing that makes life possible is permanent, intolerable uncertainty, not knowing what comes next. And the only thing that is absolutely certain in this life is that death will happen, which is interesting that there is that. I don't, for lack of a better word, I'll say paradox. I can't think of a better word right now, but that the only thing that is certain about the uncertainties of life is the certainty of death. And everything else is up for speculation, and that is where faith comes in. As my friend had said a couple weeks ago, that the opposite of faith isn't doubt, but it's certainty. And that faith and doubt are so intimately linked, and they cannot be separated. It is because we doubt we have faith. And as Ursula Le Guin said, if we could prove that there was no God, there would be no religion. But if you could prove that there is a God, there would be no religion either. And this is why it's important to be aware of this and to open all people up to the uncertainties of everything, and in humility connect with each other and love each other. And I think pursue the ultimate satisfaction of human souls, which is, I believe, to be connection with other people through the questioning of mystery always. And this is why I believe that learning how to write well will help you learn how to think well. And learning how to think well will help you communicate well. And by being able to express yourselves clearly, you make a clear channel for other people to access yourself, and that they too will open themselves up and you can access them. So that's why I think it's important to learn how to communicate so that way you can more regularly encounter mystery goodness and find satisfaction or happiness, if that's what you like to call it. And I think that these basic skills will continue to develop in a way that will be very beneficial for me in the future. Even if I don't pursue religious studies, I believe that being able to communicate and to be humble and to open myself up to other people to see the center of my thoughts and my being allows them to touch the mystery of God. And in that, I also touch the mystery of God. And so I think this has benefited me and will continue to benefit me, in that education should never be taken for granted, but cherished as something that I should cherish for the rest of my life, and know that I will always be learning and exploring and encountering Sophia, always be encountering the divine and encountering the divine in others, and I should always be prepared. And so I think that the skills that I've learned in this class will help me better do that, and hopefully I can use the tools that I have learned in this class, the Practicum Writing 191, would bring about the same gifts and skills and talents in others, and that they'd become better persons for it. I'm not saying that they were evil before, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying that they're persons more able to express themselves and become larger vessels for the divine. And I think that is all I have to say, but this is why I think everything is so important, because at the heart of it, it is encountering God, encountering divine, encountering knowledge, growing yourself, becoming a better, fuller person, one that grows in what Santa Clara calls the 3 C's: conscience, competence, and compassion. And not people only sit around and think, but act on what they think and what they believe, and become what Emerson says as the self-reliant person who has a conviction and acts on that conviction, but also in humility towards the transcendent divine. Thank you.